Today we are going to see Leetcode problem number 1342. So this is a very interesting question, and in this we will definitely be using recursion. So the question is number of steps to reduce a number to 0. So basically the question says that whatever number is given to you, based upon the provided conditions, you have to give the number of steps that you will perform to reduce that number to 0. And the conditions that are given to you is, if the current number is even, you have to divide it by 2, otherwise you have to subtract 1 from it. And based upon these conditions, you have to tell how many steps it will take to get number n to number 0. So suppose the number is given to you 14. So if the number is given to 14, we will check what. So let's write the pseudocode. If there is a number n given to me, I will check if the number is divisible by 2. So if the current number is even, that is divisible by 2, you have to divide it by 2. Then divide it by 2. Divide by 2. So this will be one step where you will be dividing the number by 2. Then if not, or we can write it as else, we have to subtract 1 from the number, else n minus 1. So these will be the two condition, otherwise you have to subtract 1 from it. So we will subtract 1 from it, and if it is divisible by 2, we will divide by 2. And now this is going to be the solution, and then you will count the number of steps and give. Other than this, there will be two edge cases. Suppose the number n is equal to 0. So how many steps we will take to make the number 0? It is already 0. There is no need for any steps. So number of steps in this case will be 0. Now suppose the number is equal to 1. So we know that if the number is equal to 1, what we will do? We will subtract 1 from it because it is not divisible by 2. Hence the next number will be n minus 1, which will be equal to 0. So here number of steps that we will take is 1. So now if we see this question, here we are getting some base cases, and there is some repetitive steps that we have to perform. So what is the repetitive step? This is the repetitive step where we have to check if the number is divisible by 2, we have to divide by 2. If not, we subtract 1. So this is a clear-cut case of recursion. So in this case we can make use of recursion. This basically the provided base case and a repetitive thing that we have to perform tells us that we should make use of recursion. So since now we know the methodology we are going to use, so let's write the code. So let's cover the first let's cover the base cases. If n is equal to 0, then no need for the brackets, curly braces, we lessen number of line of code. Return 0. If n is equal to 1, then we will return 1, because since 1 is given, we will subtract 1 from it and we will get it 0. So that's why we are performing one step. Now next, see, if n is divided by 2, so the mod will be equal to 0. Then we say that return 1 plus, now we have to call the recursion. We are adding 1 here because we are performing one step of dividing the number by 2. So we will add 1, and then we can simply call the same method again. As we are making use of recursion, we have to make the input value smaller. So here, as provided in the question, step we have to divide the number by 2. So hence here the provided number will be divided by 2 and the same method will be called. So we don't need to worry about the next steps because we are covering our base case here and we are reducing our input value. So the recursion conditions are getting satisfied. Else we write return 1 plus the same thing. And here how what reduction we are doing, here we have subtracting 1 from the number. So let's remove all of these. So yes, I think we are good with the solution. So we are covering the base case 0 and 1, and here we are checking if the number is divisible by 2. We return 1 because we are performing an operation of dividing the number. Where we are performing this operation, we are performing it here, and we are recalling the number, so n by 2, and we are returning 1 plus n by 2. And similarly, if the number is not divisible by 2, we are adding 1 and returning the number minus 1. So this was as per the question, and we can also uh, test it. Suppose the input number is 14, then it will come, since it is not 0 and not 1, it will come here, number is divisible by 2. So the input will be 1 plus number of steps will be called, and here we will be passing input 7 as we are dividing the number by 2. And then again it will come here since these conditions are not satisfied, and it will come in the else case because the 7 number is not divisible by 2, hence the number of steps here will be 1 plus 7 minus 1 is 6. So here we will pass 6. So this way the recursion will continue. 6 is divisible by 2, then we will divide by 2, so we will return 3, and here 1 plus number of steps, so again it will be 2 will be called, and then again 1 plus, since 2 is divisible by 2, next time we will be passing 1, and then this we will be reaching the base case because here we are returning 1, so this will return 1, and this combined will return 2, this combined will return 3, oh sorry, and this combined will return 4, and this combined will return 5 plus 1, so we will get 6. Let's run our code. So yes, it is getting accepted. Let's submit it. So yes, it is getting submitted, and it's really a fast code because we are making a use of recursion here. You can test run it again in order to understand better. Thanks.